Hey, what's up, Unheard Gems? Are you ready to welcome the one and only Airports and Sammi Constantine in one interview?
Yeah, great. How are you?
Doing well?
Hi.
Hey! So, I've got a few questions lined up to ask you. So, to start off, both of you, how did you guys get into music and what was your musical journeys like?
Well, I started playing music when I was really young. My dad's a musician as well. And then I grew up in school in pop punk bands, actually, playing like Blink-182 covers. And then when I got older, I learned a few different instruments. And then I really got into DJing and learning to produce. And then by the time I was finished high school, I started playing in clubs as a DJ. I started having releases as a producer, making like dance music. And then eventually it kind of evolved, and I went back and forth between having bands, having a live act, and being a DJ. And now I'm an artist called Airports, which kind of encompasses all of that into one.
And what about you, Sammy?
My start to music was really strange, actually. I was a full time dancer actually, and I pretty much didn't see anything else in my path, I guess. And I was pretty much sold on being a full time dancer. And it wasn't until I was admitted to Westmead Hospital that I had time to really think about it and have, yeah, I guess time to myself. And I really discovered that I loved writing, and I was in there for 6 weeks, so I had a lot of time on my hands. And then when I came out, I started playing guitar, and I started, talking about, you know, learning more instruments and that sort of thing, and it turned into poetry and songwriting, and that was kind of it for me. And then I met Aaron, and Aaron started producing my music, and just went from there, really. So it was a bit of a weird one.
That's actually a really great segue into my next question. So, you obviously both work together and with a bunch of other artists. So, how do these collaborations come up?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're both our own artists. We're both separate artists. So I'm Airports and Sammi is Sammi Constantine. But I actually produce a lot of Sammy's music. And then on my last single, I had Sammi feature as a feature vocalist as well. So we're quite intertwined in that regard, but we also have our own separate music, and sometimes we work with other people. Like I actually produce for a bunch of all different artists. But at the moment, I think Sammy's been my only like feature on my recent releases.
And yeah, like I've done a lot of feature vocals for a whole bunch of artists as well. I think collaborations are really cool. Like I really enjoy collaborating with other people. Yeah, it just kind of come about. And in terms of like working with Airports, other than him producing my music, getting on the feature on Limbo kind of just made sense. So that was really cool.
So, when you're working on music independently or with each other or with any other artist, what is your approach to the songwriting process?
For everyone is different. I mean, I'm more of a producer, so sometimes I might have music or a beat made first, and I will write over that, or sometimes I'll have a hook or a lyric already in my head. I could be in the shower and come up with a chorus vocally, and then I'd go back and I'll find some chords for it, and then I'll start putting it all together. Whereas I think Sammy's a bit more organic.
I think my approach changes depending on my mood and depending on what I'm writing for. Like if I'm writing for myself, it comes from a very personal place, and I generally already have these lyrics kind of already, hidden somewhere in my phone or on a piece of paper, and I'll kind of sit there with the guitar and twiddle away. But if I'm writing for somebody else, I like to really understand their story and what we're talking about, and I like to have conversations with them about what the direction of the track is, and sometimes I get the beat first and we write over that, and sometimes it starts from the bottom and when we're working with nothing. So it just varies per song and per artist, I guess. Yeah.
That's really cool. So, most of our listeners are from America because we are a California based school and radio show. So, how would you explain the Australian music scene?
Oh man, first of all, we both really miss California because we were in LA last year, so shout out to all of you. Um, yeah, Australian music's very different. We're a much smaller population than the States, so in a way it's like more competitive, but it's also easier to stand out. But at the same time, it's harder to get mass exposure because we just don't have as many people. However, it feels like a really good scene sometimes because a lot of people know each other. It can feel like a really cool, like family sometimes within the music industry, depending on who you know, because it's not too broad and not too vast. But at the same time, I guess it's like any market in music and anywhere in the world. Like you still have to have good music. You still have to work your way up, and you still have to, you still have to work really hard.
So I know that, Aaron, you do a lot of live performances, and so just for both of you, what are those experiences like performing live, and do you prefer the writing and producing side of music or the performance side more?
I think it's both equal. Like, for most artists, you kind of feel in your element either on stage or in the studio because one of them is creating and one of them is expressing. Actually, they're both expressing and they're both creating, but just in different ways. They come hand in hand. Like, I wouldn't pick one or the other because both are just as fun.
Yeah, I feel like for me, it's like when I'm in the studio and I'm writing, I'm like getting all the emotion out, or I'm getting the story out, or I'm trying to say what I want to say, and then it all comes together and you get to listen to it. And then when you get to perform it, it almost brings a whole nother element to it, personally and for the audience. It's kind of like, yeah, you engage other people and you kind of see what they think of it, and you experience what they're getting out of it, and you can see all that when you're on stage watching them listen, if that makes sense. So kind of brings this whole new element to your little song baby that you started in a studio that was just your words, That's cool.
Yeah, and sort of like leading off of that, if there was like one most like memorable moment so far in your career in music, what would that moment have to be right now?
Oh, I have it.
Yeah,
I've got one. Okay, my one, just on the back of like what I just said with seeing different elements of your song coming together. I think one of my favorite experiences in my career so far was actually seeing one of my first music videos come together, because for me that was like, as I said, we have the song in the studio, then you get to perform it, and you get to hear it and see how it goes, and then when you bring a visual aspect into it and you get to see that whole picture, it, for me, it just brings the whole thing together and makes it like real. It just makes it legit in my eyes, you know what I mean? And I get to really see everything that was in my head. And like, I'm fortunate enough to have some incredible media guys behind us that have really brought all that together for me and done such an amazing job. So that's my favorite part. I'm definitely all about the whole package. I think it's really important to me. But yeah, I don't know. What about you, Aaron?
I guess when you see people actually really feeling your music out there, it just means a lot. Like when I do a gig where a lot of people are just feeling it, or they're singing back lyrics, or actually something which is really amazing and moving, and this is really backs up the purpose in music that I feel like I have. So I created a song called Distance a while ago, and we've had kids come up to us after shows or whatever who have been like, hey, like I really needed that song, like that helped me get through this. And I know Sammi has it too with her music because it's quite meaningful, quite personal. But one of the most rewarding things, not the most rewarding thing, is getting that reaction or getting that response or that message from someone who's like, today I needed this song and you helped me get through this, whatever I'm going through. And I think that's really special because like we're writing these songs out of our own personal, sometimes dark places, and we're writing it purely out of our heart to help us get through that moment. And when that song extends beyond our soul, we get to hear about people going like, that song touched me and I really needed that. Like that actually puts it all into perspective for me, and it's very humbling. And I know like I've had moments where I've been too focused on, the hustle, or I've been too focused on, building as an artist, and then when someone comes along and says these things, it's like, wow, that's actually the purpose of my music, and that makes me step back and go, that was all worth it, that was worth all that hard work.
And potentially heartbreak as well. Like we go through these like things, it's real stories that we're talking about. Like I know I don't put out anything that doesn't mean something, so it's like, you go through something and you feel it and it sucks at the time, but if off the back of that you can help other people and they can get something out of it, then that's worth it to me. That's amazing.
And you can definitely hear it in your music and feel it too. So one last question is, if you both were to recommend to all of our listeners a growing artist or unheard musician that we need to listen to, who would it be?
We got a mate named Blake Rose who just came to my mind. He's Australian as well. He's actually I think he's in LA at the moment doing some things. He's been doing a few features lately. He's such an incredible voice and songwriter. Like, I highly recommend him.
I'd probably say as well my friend Chloe and Coda Banks, like these two girls, are little pocket rockers. Oh my gosh, they're crazy. I think Chloe is spelled CX instead of the CH, but crazy. Just amazing.
Yeah, these are really great Australian songwriters and artists that we're lucky to know.
Well, thank you so much for being part of Unheard Gems, and we look forward to seeing what else you guys do.